to another edition of the Student Fire Podcast, live from the Speak Fire studio. My name is Bobby Burke. I'm a motivational speaker for schools, and I am here to help you live your best life today. What's going on, everyone?
Are you ready to get your internal fire sparked?
Welcome to the Fyreside.
Welcome to the Fyreside.
Are you ready?
We are Speak Fire, and this is the Fyreside Roundtable.
The Fyreside Roundtable, baby!
Are you ready? Get ready for this.
We're all here. Team Speak Fire, assemble.
We are the Speak Fire, and this is the Fyreside Roundtable.
All right, everybody, we're here again, once again, for a Speak Fire Roundtable. It has been way too long, so hard getting all our schedules lined up. We've all been very busy in our own worlds, but every once in a while we got to bring the super friends, make them unite, and bring back together all the legends at Speak Fire. Bring together all the voices, all the hosts, the coaches, the mentors, the teachers. Bring them all together at one for a Speak Fire Roundtable. Aisha, Bobby, Jody, Neil, Sean, and myself, Mike Gingras. Everybody, how you doing? Welcome.
Good, we're good. How
Great to be
doing?
here, man.
I'm hunkered down in my bunker.
That's a good bunker.
Yeah, I got the floosh table right behind me. So,
we're here. I guess in varying stages, right? We're all in different places in the country. So we got Alaska, Idaho, South Carolina, Texas, Michigan, and St. Louis, Missouri. So we're in all sorts of different places, different levels. Some of us just got into shutdown. Some of us have been in shutdown. I'm in week 3 here in Michigan, looking at another 3 weeks. So, all right, Aisha, I want to come to you first. You know, we're all in varying stages of our quarantine. Stay safe, stay home, or stay home, stay safe. A lot of times, what will happen when we're trapped in our little bubble, we start to fret about what's going on in the world, and it's hard for us to keep our mind right. We begin to live in this state of fear, and even though we should have concern and caution for what's going on in the world, and understanding and respect for what's going on in the world, how do we keep our mind right, keep our head right from entering that state of fear and keeping our place in the right perspective?
Yeah, one of the things that I think that a lot of people have to identify is we had a lot of distractions before we got into this space. And this is probably the first time you have finally been with yourself. And now you're recognizing that maybe your relationships aren't healthy. You're maybe recognizing that you have really attached yourself to people so much that you haven't identified or have a self-identity of your own. Or maybe it was related to your status and your recognition. And I think that in this season, it's so important for us to recognize who we are, what has distracted us so long, and why did it distract us for so long? And now starting to unwind and identifying, okay, the source of that. Why was my identity so wrapped into my job that now when I'm home with my family, I'm struggling so hard to get along with my spouse or my kids or with my boyfriend, girlfriend, or whoever it is that you're having issues with? Or why is it so hard for me to be alone and really just personally develop because my identity was so wrapped up in the friendships and the relationships that I had? Or why is it so hard for me not to be at work? Because again, I've been avoiding certain things in my life and I never took time to address it. So I think that in this season, whatever you feel and whatever patterns you're seeing, you probably want to identify the why behind that. And that's the thing you want to remedy. Get to that place where you recognize, okay, I haven't spent enough time with my spouse. I need to really start working on that relationship. So maybe I need to get coaching with my spouse to get through that. I never really sat with myself and learned how to love me. And I've been allowing other people to validate me on the outside. So maybe I need to sit down with a therapist or do some personal development to start working on loving me outside of what's happening on the outside. So I think this is a perfect time for us to recognize those patterns, find out the why behind it, and start to work on finding solutions to remedy those issues or those problems.
I approve that message.
And that was great. One of the things that you mentioned in that is that at home with our spouses, and we'll also put our kids, all the people in our house, and digging into those relationships. One of the sadder things I've heard about the stay safe, stay home, our COVID lockdown, is that we're having higher rates of domestic abuse, which is something that greatly concerns me. And, as men in our household, sometimes I'm not sure what happens to that. But Sean, if I can reach out to you, maybe you can touch on ways that we can work on being healthy when we're at home, in our relationships, and how do we, even when we're frustrated, right, because we're trapped in our house, how do we not take that anger out on our loved ones that we're with?
I think one of the big things is to understand, at least for me, if I'm giving the best I can, is understand why, as in like understanding what is causing that internal frustration. And I echo and second everything Aisha just said. Sometimes when you have that downtime like we're having, you start to recognize sometimes the ugly that is in you. And when you start to recognize that, it can be a scary thing. It can be an uncomfortable thing. And sometimes you want to look for someone to blame. And the quickest person or the nearest person that's near you in your space are the person that you blame, whether it's your spouse or your children or whoever have you. And you don't have that ability to deal with it yourself. So you just kind of start taking it out on other people. But at the end of the day, even after you do all that, you're still dealing with it because it's an issue that you have. And I think that the best thing to do is to seek that help. It's like basically everything that Aisha was just saying. It's easy to blame and take it out on other people. That's not you.
You really said something that connected. Everybody might have a hard time understanding, but you said the ugly that's within you. And we all have those skeletons in our closets. And, we touched on some heavy stuff there in those last two things. But I want to come to Jody. Jody is our father. He's our father's fire guy, but he's got a large family. He's at home with his lovely wife and his beautiful family. Jody, talk to us about how do we use this time to reconnect, to reforge, to redevelop, to dig into these relationships that we really have missed all this time?
See, that's an interesting question because in my family, I don't think that we've missed it because prior to this, every Monday night we had family night. Every Friday night Judy and I had date night. And every Saturday night, if it was the summer, we were out water skiing or playing in the water or going on an adventure together. And so I think it really starts from what are you doing every single day? So, but there are people that all of a sudden they've woke up to COVID-19 and they're looking to the person next to them that they've now spent 30 days with. And they're like, who are you? Right? Because they've never continued to maintain that relationship. So we kind of had a jump start. But even with that said, it's been a great opportunity for us because we can't go out because we're very outdoors kind of a family. We're always outdoors doing something together. So it's allowed us an opportunity to go, all right, guys, on Tuesday night, what would you like to do? And on Wednesday night, what would you like to do? And it's been really cool because we've been able to paint together, which I've never painted before other than paint by number. One night the girls wanted to tie-dye shirts. And so we've been able to explore different ideas and let the kids drive those ideas. And so it's created some new opportunities for us to do that. We've also played a lot more games than we have in the past. I mean, we've been playing Phase 10 and Skip-Bo and every game we can pull out of the closet. And it's created opportunities for us to not only laugh together, but also to visit and just talk to each other without the TV or the distraction of, oh, hey, I got to go see my boyfriend, or I got to go see my girlfriend, or I got to go to work. And so it's given us some real secluded time to actually be together as a family, which has been nice. But I really think you have to make it a very intentional part of your life that you need to spend time with your spouse or your children. It can't be all of a sudden, oh, who is this person? And now I got to figure out what I got to do.
That's right. That's, we get to be in our life, but a little more intense, right? You guys always had that great life, but now you're there 24/7. I was listening to Student Fire the other day, and Bobby Berg was on, but he also had a special guest, Mrs. Berg, and they were discussing the struggles of being at home and dealing with that, what you're going to do in that downtime and existing in that downtime. And I really recommend everybody go out and listen to Jenny and Bobby discussing that. It was a very interesting, very open, healthy conversation but in a marriage, and it was beautiful to listen to. But Bob, talk to us a little bit, if you will. What have you done as a husband to ease your wife, who was concerned about being a worker in retail and working out in the general public, and then ending up being home, and now she's looking at going back in there? What are you doing as a husband to support her in all that role, and then that anxiety just being a leader in your family?
So something I'm trying to remind her of regularly is that we're going to be okay. There's a lot of fear that's going on. There's a lot of people are scared. I'm scared. I'm not going to hide from that. I don't know when this is going to blow over, and neither does she. But if we start acting as though we're terrified 24/7, it's going to seep into our marriage. It's going to seep into our personal lives. It's going to seep into us. And people are really incredible. People in large groups that are scared are really stupid. And I know that sounds really harsh, but it's true. When you get stressed out, you stop making rational decisions. You start panic doing everything, and it's not healthy. So I've been really trying to just help her as much as I can. I'll try and make sure that the house is tidied up and everything's done, so when she gets home, there's nothing to worry about. She just got a call. She's been home for the past 3 weeks, and she just recently got called back. She'll be going back in, I think, 2 weeks. And she's a little nervous about it. She's excited because she'll get to see her friends and get to, be helping fight the good fight. But she's like, there's a possibility I could get infected with this and I could bring it home, which is scary for me too, because it affects me. But I keep telling her, I'm like, listen, the hospital is right down the road. We have some of the best healthcare in the world. And even if things were to turn for the worse, I really think deep down that we're going to be okay. And do I know that for sure? No. But if we go into this with the mindset of things are going to go terribly, you're probably going to subconsciously make some decisions to push things in that direction. So I keep telling them, like, let's keep this positive attitude. Let's keep working on our relationship. Let's keep working on, being the best version of ourselves that we can be, and everything else will fall into place.
Right. He touched in that there, Neil, when he told us, about having that positive attitude. In my life, I also manage a group of stores, and I talk to a lot of people, and I'm trying to keep everybody in the right frame of mind. And one of the things that I struggle to communicate, and I would love to hear what you're going to say on this, is even though this is something that we want to be concerned about, how do we walk in this bravely and boldly and not walk in fear, right? It's a real thing, and it's okay to be cautious, concerned, and respect it. But how do we walk bravely and boldly and not step into that fear, which is so easy to succumb to?
Well, the main thing for me is just honestly being a follower of Christ, and just knowing that God is still in control. And what I tell my friends and tell my fiance is that regardless of what's happening, this is just already spoken of. And what we have to do is apply the principles that was left behind for us, which are the scriptures, and just apply it to our life. So regardless, and this may sound like an extremist point of view, but I think it can be a win-win, because if you go through this COVID-19 and you don't pass away, you had all this time to yourself, to your family, to your family, to your business. You had all this time to use. And so when we come out on the other side, we know what we need to do when we start hitting the ground running. But on the other hand, if you're a man or you're a woman of God and you truly believe what thus says the Lord, then you know if you pass away, then you're going to get to see your Father. And that's honestly just how I've been moving forward, just because that's all that I have. Be honest, if you do not have that standard of Christ, it's going to be challenging going through this moment, because every time you turn around, there are people passing away. So what are some things that you can do? You cannot, and I repeat, you cannot let this burden you down. Life still has to go on. You use your family. If you have a family, use your family as your motivational tool. Say, you know what? Just like all of y'all echo, say, you know what? I want to get to know my son a whole lot more. I want to get to know my daughter a whole lot more. This is the perfect time for me to mend a relationship with me and my wife, or me and my husband. And if you're single, you say, what can I bring to the world? What can I bring to the world in this time of COVID-19? What can I bring to the world? And when you start thinking and looking like that, when you start thinking and speaking like that, it takes your mind off what's going on, because now you're seeing what you can give in this bad time instead of seeing what is actually being given to you in a bad way. So the main thing is just really, really having the faith in the Lord and occupy your mind and occupy your time in this time of the COVID-19.
So, also, Neil, I've been worried about you personally, the host of Champion Fire.
Mm-hmm.
All things sports. I mean, how are you coping? Are you okay?
Oh man, it's hard, man. It's really hard. I love to watch it. I love to talk sports, but I've been okay. They already speaking about bringing sports back. I think within 21 days they're preparing themselves to bring sports back. I don't know what it is with Vince McMahon, but he have the hookup down in Florida. So with wrestling, WWE is considered an essential company now. So, I still get to watch wrestling, but I've been coping good, man. I've been coping good. Next season come up. I don't know if y'all listened to my last episode, but the next season coming up is this actually molded Champion Fire into something spectacular, man. So y'all, man, I just want y'all to listen and see what's going to happen in the next season.
Can't wait to hear it.
Sir.
So Aisha, you talk a lot about personal development, mental health, leadership, and this is a time where I think all three of those are, greatly needed. When I was listening to Student Fire with Bobby and Jenny, they were discussing, whether you're productive in this time, or if you just take this time for yourself and live in that moment. And so, can you speak on that? I mean, where should we be focused at? Should we be focused more on productivity and being able to put wins on the board in this time? Or is it really more about focusing within, or just cuddling up with the blanket and the Netflix?
Well, I think it's important that you put yourself first. I've been doing a lot of, for my business on this side, I've been doing a lot of assessments. And what I've been doing is kind of helping unlocking people's self-awareness and their authenticity. And what I've been realizing is that there are a lot of people who have put the needs of others before themselves. And this is a great opportunity for you to put yourself first. And productivity could be actually you putting yourself first, because again, you've been so distracted by all these other things. You've been so distracted about what's going on the outside that you have never self-assessed. So even as a leader in business, even the leader in the military, I have had to really deep dive and look at myself and ask myself, where are you? I've been productive. Yes, I might have put out books. Yes, I might have, because my business on the business side, business is really booming. And again, because I'm in the area of personal development, a lot of people are seeking that information. But I have also had to look at myself, because I think as leaders, we need to lead with self-mastery first. I do not want us to be the type of individuals who live this life and talk all these things about how we're successful, but we're not even successful in our families. I mean, I love the fact that Jody has taken time and already implemented processes before COVID-19 happened. And I think that's the mindset we want to have. We want to start remedying and creating patterns and systems that if another wave of this happens again next year, we have already been in practice. We've already been spending time with family. We've already worked on ourselves. We've already done all these things. So actually when this hit for me, I was like, okay, no big deal. I'm going to continue to assess myself and work on improving myself because now I have more time to myself. However, I had already started putting processes in place. I get up at 4:45 every morning to get on a 5 a.m. accountability call that pours into me, my personal development. I already have my spiritual aspect. You have, Cornelius was talking about the spiritual aspect. I also have my physical resiliency. I do an hour of working out or sometimes 2 hours, depending on what craziness I want to do. So again, what can you start? You have to start thinking about what you can start doing now to create that pattern of consistency. So if this does happen again, it doesn't affect you as much because you already have things and systems in place that you're already doing. So I think that prioritizing yourself, coming up with a pattern of productivity of putting yourself first while also managing your business and everything else is so important because again, it might not be to this magnitude, but when another wave of adversity hits you, you already have things in place to allow you to get past it a lot sooner than you sitting in this pit of sadness that you're probably in now. So again, think about what can I build to start that consistency in those patterns. So if this does happen again, I have already dived in taking care of myself, my family, and then everything else comes behind that.
Wow. Well, Aisha, where can we connect with you? Where can people connect with you? How do we reach out to you?
Of course, check out my podcast, man. We're a Speak Fire family. Check me out on Internal Fire, and that's Fire with the Y. Follow me on social media at Miss Aisha Speaks. So check out my website, aishathomas.org. Get that counseling, that coaching, so we can unlock that greatness within you.
Cornelius, talk to us. How do we reach out to you? How do we connect with you?
You can reach out to me. All things. I am Cornelius Dunlap. That is the new thing for me right now is TikTok, because of course that's popping right now. But IG, Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, I am Cornelius Dunlap. Also, I do have a podcast, which is Champion Fire. That's powered by Speak Fire. Oh, and by the way, that's Speak Fire with a Y. It's on all platforms, guys. That's how you can find me. I would love for you to support me and just come listening and get that inner champion awakened.
Sean, you've seems like you've recently come off the success of another movie debuting and having great success. So congratulations on that. Where can we see it? Tell us a little bit about it, and then how can we connect with you?
Thank you. You can catch your boy on Instagram at the official Sean B, and on Facebook, Sean Brassfield. And yes, the film was officially on Netflix. And within the first 48 hours, we cracked the top 10 movies watched on Netflix at number 8. It's a phenomenal film.
Hey.
Yeah.
Hey, man.
Official IMDb credit now. So yeah, it's a great film about a father trying to see his daughter.
What's the name?
It's called The Ghost Who Walks.
And what's your role in that?
I am Cloudy Eye. I'm one of the villains who are assigned to catch this guy.
Villain?
Trying to see his daughter. Yeah.
I've seen some screenshots of it. He looks great in the role.
I kind of look like the Black Terminator.
I know that's what we're watching soon. So Jody, tell me, where can we connect? Tell me how do we hook up with Jody Cedric?
So Instagram is Jody Cedric, JodySedrick. And of course, Father's Fire is the podcast. And I also have a Facebook group just for men called Father's Fire, where we have more intimate, direct discussions about what it means to be a father, what it means to be a man. And I mean, we really try to have a heart-to-heart talk in a safe, private environment where men can explore what it really means to be a great father and a great man.
So I'm really proud of that, man. Congratulations on
Thank you.
That.
It's been a lot of fun. We've had some great conversations, and sometimes the groups are small, and that's okay. We can have very direct, open conversations, and it's just a safe place for men to talk about the things that are on their heart.
Yeah, small is better. Let it grow organically. Congratulations, really.
Thank you.
Bob, take us out. Where do we connect with Bobby Berg?
So I'm on every social media platform you can think of. It's just at Bobby Berg, one word. Especially on TikTok. Been really big on that lately. And as you know, hop on Student Fire. I'd love to connect with you.
And I'm your host.
He wanted to go.
I'm your host, as always, Michael Gingras, host of Leadership Fire, proud co-speaker with my friends here at Speak Fire. I encourage everyone, if you're not listening to any of the shows on the Speak Fire Network, please subscribe now. Champion Fire, Father's Fire, Young Fire, Student Fire, Internal Fire, and of course, Leadership Fire. I'm a little partial, maybe I'm biased. Thanks again for tuning in to a Fyreside Roundtable. Always a pleasure, super exciting. Team, thank you so much for being here. And as always, you can find us every Monday morning at 4 a.m. Are you going to be up with us?
We are Speak Fire. Who are we? We are a collective of inspirational, motivational, life-guiding speakers here to help you make your best life available and real today. For everyone that's looking for anything and everything leadership, you have to check out my guy, Michael Gingras, over at Leadership Fire. For my youth that are coming up, for those of you that have questions that need answers, go hit up Sean B. He's the host of Young Fire, killing the game every single Monday. For those of you that have questions that go a little deeper, for those of you that need that internal fire inside of you, not just sparked, but you need those flames fanned, go check out Aisha Thomas with Internal Fire. For my fathers, y'all, you are the real MVP. Go check out my guy Jody Cedric, the host of Father's Fire. For my champions, for my people that need to be the champion of not only their day, but their entire life, man, you'll gotta check out my man Neil Legend over at Champion Fire. For my students, doesn't matter if we're talking elementary, middle school, high school, college, my graduate students, all of you, for everything student empowerment, student leadership, and student productivity, tune in to Student Fire with me, your host, Bobby Bird. We are Speak Fire, live every Monday morning, 4 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. You gonna wake up with us? Let's get it.
I am excited to bring you my new book, Trendsetter, 7 Steps to Radically Stand Out to Be the Best You. This book details my journey of coming to the United States and being excited to embrace the American culture. But unfortunately, my culture was not accepted, and I found myself being bullied as a young girl. And in this process, I decided that I wanted to disconnect from my culture to be more accepted into American culture. And through that process, I got so depressed from trying to fit in that I attempted suicide my freshman year in high school. So this book talks about the journey of what I did to become radically transformed, to be the strong woman I am today. This book is something that's really going to enable the reader to understand and embrace who they are, embrace what makes them special, and become radically transformed. Get your copy today at becomingatrendsetter.com. Again, that is becomingatrendsetter.com, or check it out at my website at aishathomas.org.